The college football playoff has been set. The 4 teams that made it are not very surprising at all.
In fact, we called it exactly last week. We said if Notre Dame loses, it'll be what it is.
Yeah.
We said it. We said it.
Alabama.
A Notre Dame loss is not as costly as a Clemson loss.
Right. Yeah, Clemson would have been completely out having 2 losses to Notre Dame, but instead they moved to number 2 behind Alabama, of course. Then number 3, a little bit controversially, would be Ohio State, and we can get into that a bit. I think it's justified, but a lot of people do not. And I'm certainly not a Ohio State fan, but they did what they had in front of them and went undefeated doing it. So, and then of course your Notre Dame Fighting Irish finished number 4, which there was I don't know, were you a little bit nervous when they announced the Final Four on Sunday?
No, not really. I mean,
ESPN did everything they could to play up that drama. Like if Texas A&M could have gotten in, or Florida maybe had a chance since they played so well against Alabama. But
I mean, I wasn't surprised because I think from a TV revenue standpoint, Notre Dame, Alabama brings way more in than Texas A&M and Alabama.
Sure does.
Let's cut to the chase, right?
Yeah. Well, you just cut through all the bullshit right there. That's why it happened. So
and that's one reason why it happened. You could argue that maybe Texas A&M deserved it a little more than Notre Dame, but I mean, at the end of the day, here's the problem with any argument. The number of ranked teams that people played was all about the same. And what do the rankings even mean? Guess what? Ohio State only played 6 games, but guess what? They played 2 ranked teams, Indiana and Northwestern. They beat Northwestern 3 times. And Texas A&M played 2 ranked teams and only beat one of them. They lost. They lost to Alabama.
That's where your win against North Carolina, I think just sets any argument aside.
And the prior win against Clemson.
Well, yeah, definitely Clemson. But since you lost to them, it's that's what I'm saying. It's kind of a push between you and Texas A&M there. But then your additional win over North Carolina, they were good before you played them. You kind of handled them. You struggled in the first half and totally handled them defensively, especially in the second. And were by far the superior team. They kept on going right after that. I forget who they beat down the stretch, but they were not a fluke. I think they went up in the rankings by the end of the season after you played them. So I think that North Carolina win is literally what put you over the top, 4 versus 5 right there over Texas A&M. Texas A&M can argue all they want, but they needed to beat Alabama, and they did not. They got their ass kicked by Alabama. So